like to call this meeting to order. Would everybody join me in the pledge, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Mrs. Dawson.
Mayor Ford.
Here.
Trustee Connor.
Here.
Trustee Parker.
Here.
Trustee Garrett.
Here.
Trustee Poirier.
Here.
Superintendent Webb.
Here.
Deputy Clerk Barker.
Here.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. Dawson. I believe everybody has a copy of the board meeting minutes of the last board meeting. Are there any additions or corrections? And if not, could I have a motion to accept them as are?
I have a discussion on, I think we got some inaccuracies here. And there's a few things I noticed I went through that were left out that were in our last board meeting that aren't really in here. My request for an executive session this evening for sale of village property, I never requested an executive session. I don't know if that has any legal bearing or anything, but I'd like to get that omitted from here, if at all possible. There also was a few discussions we had last month concerning the Walker property. All five of us spoke about this, but for some reason there's only two of us in the statement as far as our board minutes responding to it. So I think it should be a little bit more complete, so everybody's comments and remarks were put into the board minutes. I'm not sure if I understand it, but it should be almost completely what we say except for typographical errors, I would imagine.
Actually, legally, the only thing that Donna has to put in the minutes is something when there's been a motion, something that's been acted upon. And when our auditor look at our minutes, they always say we put way too much in. But certainly, if you want something like that clarified,
Yeah, if I
that
could
can
get-
be done, but if there wasn't a motion, in reality, she doesn't have to put anything in.
Is it legal to go into executive session for the discussion of the sale of village property?
Yes.
It is.
But
Yeah.
Paul and I discussed that. There was
Yeah.
a question on, we had him down for an executive session, but we didn't have a reason.
All right.
We talked the other day.
Yeah, and I told you we didn't make an executive session, it was responding to correspondence.
Right, but then it had to do with the sale of property, so then that was okay, and that was what was put in there. But at the time, we didn't say that, we didn't call for an executive session.
I didn't know this was gonna come up, you never brought it up to me when I was in the office. You
No.
said, I can't call an executive session for this reason. I said, I know, I can only call for personnel issues, business issues, or things like
Remember
that.
when I called you on the phone, I explained that I had it in the minutes?
Right.
But but the reason that I had didn't make any sense.
Right.
And that we needed to clarify it, but I didn't
Right.
have it in my minutes that you had called for an executive session, but wasn't clear on
Everyone had
exactly
called for
what
an
it was
executive
for.
I
session.
think everybody.
Everyone did.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't call for an executive session for this reason. I just wanna know if this is a problem. I didn't call for an executive session for sale of village property.
What did you call an executive session?
I said
for?
at the end of my comments that I had some issues I'd like to discuss in the executive session, but that was it.
But when you go in, Paul, you have to state what you're calling an executive session for, and that's what we asked you when we came in. And
Mhm.
we determined it was because of the sale of property.
No.
Because remember you said we were talking about the Walker request,
Right.
and that, well, we understood it, that that's what the executive session, what we discussed, you discussed in the executive session, but maybe we misunderstood, I'm not sure, but.
So in fact, you didn't call for an executive.
Didn't call for an executive session, so if we can get that removed. Actually, I've reviewed the
So you
tape
called,
also.
you did call for executive session. I
For
remember that.
personnel issues that I wanted to discuss.
Right, okay.
I don't remember hearing personnel, that's where the confusion was, I didn't have it in my notes as personnel. That's why we asked you to try to clarify it.
Yeah,
so.
no, I just said at the end of my comments that I wanted to make a motion. You know, I had some discussion. I didn't make a motion. I had some discussion for executive session. Actually, if you go through here, it was Trustee Connors and I believe Trustee Garrett that actually made the executive session for that evening.
I think we all called for it.
Yeah.
I remember.
What's written in
We
here?
all
I
had
know.
different things.
You were standing, yeah, we all had different issues,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
No, I'm just wondering about this one issue. I didn't call executive session for that, so if we could get that removed out of there.
Maybe that's why I didn't have a reason, I wrote what you were saying, and probably you made a comment, you had it for executive session, just talking, not exactly stating you wanted an
Yeah,
executive
because,
session.
I mean, what we talked about in the office and the message I got in the answering machine were two different things, the first thing, so. And then I did review the tape. I never made it a motion for executive session for this reason. Just like to get that clarified.
Yeah, no, it's okay, it's misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's why she called, because we didn't know what it was. And then I guess we still
Right,
didn't
you asked me
straighten it
what
out.
I had some about buildings or properties
Yeah.
that you wanted to know. What I was talking about is when the Walkers they wanted to purchase certain property from us. And I said,
Right.
do we have other properties like this in the village? Your response was, yes, we do. I said, well, can we get a list of this? Maybe we should find out what we own before we start selling off our property. But that's what the conversation was about.
Okay, so if we were to have Trustee Barker requested the executive session of this meeting, discuss the sale of village property, deleted from the minutes. Do I get a motion to have the minutes accepted in a second?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I see there's no one here this evening to address our board. So I guess we move on to my report. I have to apologize for some of my, even my absence last month's meeting, and I'd like to take this time to thank Deputy Mayor Charles Connor for taking over. Thank you very much, sir, on short notice, but there are some health issues that are coming up, and I'm here tonight. Good now. I see that there was, I thought, an astronomical amount of purchase requisitions. And I think as a board, we probably should address each one of these as an individual purchase. Because I'm sure there'll be some discussions with some of these. I've got one in front of me for metric wrench set, SK, and metric socket set, Black Oak. I think my question to Superintendent Webb is this half-inch or three-quarter-inch drive? Do you know?
It's a 3/8 drive.
3/8 drive?
I had earlier discussion with Joe when I saw that, and we talked about at this point in time, until our tool crib is better in order, maybe you could check down Tools Unlimited. Instead of going with the SK brand and that type of thing, we'd probably knock that price in half or maybe a little bit less.
Well, I know we need them, and this is what I'm getting at,
Right.
okay? I believe in this because it's hard to work on anything if you don't have the tools to work on. My thing is, and I believe what you're saying is, maybe we might want to try to pursue maybe not as good a grade until we get someplace where we can have people responsible for making sure that they stay here. I myself don't have a problem with buying the tools.
I was telling Joe, he may find that he could almost get the same sizes that he's looking for to work on that new machine within his purchase parameters,
Right.
purchase policy
Right.
parameters.
Right. But my thoughts, and I think maybe the board should have some discussion or agree, I think he needs to get his wrench set. My thing is, I think he needs to not have the quality that, until we can safeguard it. I myself don't have a problem.
Once we get into doing more heavy repairs
Right.
where it's a constant use, then we can look at
Right.
upgrading.
I myself don't have a problem with this purchase right, does anybody else?
Can you say that again?
I said, I myself don't have a problem with this purchase right. What I'm saying is, I think I'm saying to him,
Find it cheaper.
you can do this, but do it at a cheaper cost.
Right, exactly.
You know, and what happens is, this 185 will probably be 85, okay?
Okay,
Uh,
fine with me.
I mean, I can't see us bringing this back and saying,
That's
okay,
right.
we're gonna do this again.
So
Go down there,
approve
see
up
what you
to
can find and grab it, don't
Take
get.
care of tomorrow.
So approve up to a dollar amount?
Well, I
It'll
think
be
we'll
within reason.
we'll prove up to what he wants to buy, but it should never be nowhere near this.
Well, he has a $50
Purchase.
purchase,
Right.
Anyways.
anyway, purchase up to $50 well for approval.
Right.
And you buy each set of
Separately.
these, it's gonna be,
It'll work.
sure or less.
$3 a stop.
Right. Whatever.
So
I'll be reasonable.
you'll be reasonable, so we'll just discard this purchase right then. That's what I'm gathering.
Okay. So what do you want to do next?
Okay. 1 DR 820, was that chlorinator for water testing?
Yes, sir.
This is something we talked about a little bit last month, right?
Yeah, what we use now is just a little color chart. It's
Been
inaccurate.
obsolete.
It can be up to 20% off in your accuracies of chlorine and elements in the water.
Which company is this from, Bill?
I believe it's from the USA folks. Did I put a copy of the?
Is this approved for, I mean, like by Board of Health or any
Yes.
water testing laboratories?
Yeah. Actually, when Clinton County Health was here for their annual inspection, they were surprised we were still using that little old litmus wheel checker.
Yeah, because I don't like that either, but
Now, we have one, well, no, we don't have one, I'm sorry.
But I think if it's something that's gonna be, get better testing of the quality of water, it upgrade us to something, as long as it's approved or accepted by the
New York State Department of Health and
Yes.
Clinton County Health. And,
Right.
It is,
Yes.
okay.
No other place to price around for prices
I
on it?
usually only has it offer this type of model that is used, and I can check, see if there's anything more reasonable, but
Is this the most common one being used now?
yeah, this is not the highest grade one you can get. You can get one up to $1,500 or $2,000.
Wherever your wallet can stand.
Yeah.
right.
But this will serve the purpose of what we're doing.
Yes.
With no problems.
Right.
Well, I think we need this.
I think we're all set with it. Anything to do with water quality, like Chuck was saying earlier. I
Okay,
think
so we're gonna
we pay attention to it.
approve this purchase rec for this, need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I'll sign it that way. There no goes. Pass it that way, please. I think that Mr. Webb and I have spoke on this next one. Provide for welding repair of wind plow and an axle to us for, did
Yes,
we
we
talk
did.
on that? And that
Yes,
was
we did. And I was trying to expedite it, so I had the equipment painted, repaired, greased, put away for storage.
Right.
And this price was far
See
in
what-
the basement compared to Viking came out to fix the wing
See,
plow. or
what
something else.
what I figure is, the only thing is I don't see any account on here, but,
I probably didn't, I didn't put it.
yeah, I don't see
It's
an
a part
account.
of street equipment, or snow repair.
But what I usually find out is if we don't do it when it's fresh on our mind, we put it away broken, and then when we come to pull it out, it's already broken. We're already behind the 8 ball. So I spoke to Mr. Webb on it, and I told him to go right ahead.
Part of a preventive maintenance.
Part of a
area,
preventive
so-
maintenance, I mean, because it, you know,
I looked
we
at
ne-
it,
you never know when you get going down the road, hey, let's throw that plow on, let's go, and then bust it. So let's repair it, fix it, and put it away.
we need a motion on this one too.
Yeah, we're gonna need a motion, but I still think we're gonna need an account number.
What are you gonna do right now?
That's
Snow
at,
removal?
Snowplow repair.
the snowplow repair.
And snow equipment repairs and.
Right.
Is it to repair it or the equipment to put
To repair.
To repair.
5110.4?
51,
5142.4, I'm sorry. 5142.4.
okay.
What was the budgeted amount?
4,800 in that account.
Budgeted 48.
So we raised 4550.
Okay, I have a motion to have this,
So moved.
okay.
Jingle, double jingle. Second?
Motion by trustee Boyer, second by trustee Garrett. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
We'll get it.
Because what I find is that, it's easy to forget. And you know what happens with the weather around here. Sometimes we gotta put it on in the middle of the night. So I'm glad that somebody takes the incentive to say, hey, let's get this done before we put it away. I have another one here for purchase software, Norton System Works Pro 2004. Provide antivirus protection for all computers, computer systems, file backup, recovery, diagnostic repair.
This is kind of in lieu of buying a full-fledged backup system for all the computers, and that would be $500. This has an automatic, in case your computer crashes, you can
Right,
restart it and
again,
go back to the last time you rebooted the computer. And
again, myself, for $100, that's cheap. Because I know I've been pricing some stuff for my computer and it scares me. And if it does that,
Norton is good. It updates constantly.
oh yeah, I get a Norton system in mine, yeah.
It's wonderful.
Again, so this would be for, but again, we don't have an account number.
Joe, is this just for your computer or is it for?
for all of us, using an
Because we
old,
both have the Norton on.
you got the old version that I put on there from my old
No,
version.
that's 2004.
That's antivirus, but it's not the whole it's not the whole System Works Pro.
The only thing that,
That's what
that
we took off today, isn't it?
he didn't take it off, but I was talking about it, and he said that sometimes with the Windows ME version, it'll slow the computer down. But I know we have, I think the 2002 Systems Works on my computer now, and it doesn't seem to affect it as far as the speed. I don't know about the updated version, though.
I loaded my old version on Donna's computer
Right.
and mine. But it's 2-3 years old now,
Right.
and it doesn't work as well with the new Windows platforms.
I don't know much about it other than that's what he said. Sometimes on the older
You're
computers,
more
it'll slow
up.
down.
Well, if you
because
leave
it
a lot of the
has
stuff
so
running in
much
the
requirements
background.
as far as, space requirements and all that, that your PC probably doesn't have with
They have much
They're
larger
larger than
capacity,
yours?
Yeah.
much faster.
So you can put that on my computer?
No, I didn't put it on yours. I put it on
Mine's
Donna's.
2004.
Is that the one you just updated there?
And that's the antivirus only.
Yeah.
This is the antivirus and everything else.
Well, they
This is
had
the
the other
backup.
on there, but he had to take it off because my machine was so slow. He had to take it off.
Well, it shouldn't be a problem on yours, because you have an 850 megahertz
He
CPU
did it
on yours.
today because nothing was moving. I was freezing up.
Yeah.
And I thought it was my, he thought it was a hard drive actually, but it wasn't. He took that off and everything was fine. I don't know. I know
Yeah.
nothing
Well, I mean,
about
mine
it.
works fine, it's only a 400 megahertz and doesn't slow it down, so unless there's something else running in the background.
Do we
I
need
don't
the
know enough
additional
about
if
it.
we already have a Norton protection, the virus protection? That's what we're really trying to protect, right? Do we need this
So
other
we're really
part?
trying to protect the computer from any loss of data, because what this does is it has a go back function on it. If you ever lock up or your computer fails, you get struck by lightning, you can reboot your computer back to the last time you started it. It'll recover all the data, it automatically saves your data every time you sign off or turn the computer off into a special file on the hard drive.
Do you sign off every night?
Yep. Or it automatically updates every time you reboot, or you install a new program, or you monitor all your new
Just
The
programs.
Norton we have now, does it do that, or no?
The one I have does that, but it's a 3-year-old model. It doesn't work as well with the new Windows platforms, because I think they're using Windows Me, and I don't know what Donna, Janice has on her computer.
Me.
It's me.
Yeah, with viruses out today, I mean, we get a new virus every.
We're lucky, we're normally
Well, the virus, the
notified.
program, it updates it every day. If they
Yeah,
can
you
update,
can
you're
schedule it
updated
to update at
automatically.
any time, off hours, whenever you're not working on the computer.
You don't have to buy
Well, does
your system
everybody
for
think that this might be a plus for our computers in our office? If they think so, well, I think we need to purchase it.
Well, I think anytime you have the up-to-date software, it's beneficial because it's, you know, more up-to-date, it has functionality that maybe the previous versions don't have. I know where I work, I mean, they're constantly upgrading software.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's antivirus software or anything else, it's something that you periodically have to do. Now, if there's an issue of locking up because of a particular version of software and your Windows version, I don't know. That's hard to say.
Well, that's the first time, I didn't know that happened.
Maybe it could be something else besides that, I don't know. I
How
don't
long
know
has it
enough
been in
about
there?
that.
How long have you had it in your computer? Norton?
2004, 3 weeks, you know.
3 weeks or
I ran
more?
out the first of June.
Yeah, it's a yearly,
A yearly thing, and it
yeah.
ran out, so I just automatically renewed
right.
And that's when it locked up, just when you were renewing it
it.
or
No,
what?
it just locked up the other day, actually.
Just,
And it came in
But it
today.
had been fine up to then?
No, it would lock up and not as much. And in the last couple of weeks, it's gotten, in fact, she couldn't even get into the accounting program from her computer. She had to use mine, and it came today, and, he felt that's what it was.
So you just paid to renew Norton virus?
To renew it or
And
take
when
it
we,
out?
yeah,
Or did you,
Renewed it.
renewed it.
it's still in there, the same one?
No,
Does it
what
still
this
make it
allows
so?
you to get is the updates. You buy each year, there's a version of Norton
Right.
antivirus,
Right.
and this allows you, once your year is up,
Well, I
you
understand that.
can't get the
What-
updates, so this allows them to get the
Right,
updates.
I understand
Yeah.
that. What I'm just trying to find out a little history is that if it's, did it slow your computer down from day one?
Not the Norton, virus, 2004, no, that's fine. It was another, what is it, the, Norton security system
Yeah,
came
something.
with it. It's part of the,
Well, that probably cleans up all the tracks and stuff like
yeah,
that,
and
what they
the-
call it.
yeah, and for some reason it just stopped. and it
So
was
it's
just-
not the antivirus, the one that we're talking about. This is an antivirus, correct? Is that what this
An
is?
antivirus, it's a software protection, it monitors every program you load into your computer in case it's a problem. It'll check email, downloads, uploads for viruses. I just,
My
There was a
opinion, I
problem,
agree
it
with
wasn't
Chuck.
aware.
I think it's important is to stay up
I
to
think
speed.
so. Especially, you know,
If Janice's computer has
don't
trouble,
put on years of it.
we'll have to find out, either we don't put it on or find out what's causing it not to accept it.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's find the
being a
problem.
municipality, I mean, you know, you're online all the time, and who's to say somebody couldn't hack into
That's
the
right.
system?
No, we need it.
We
We
need
need
it.
it, I agree.
Actually, if we do purchase it, it will go from these two computers, because I already have the 2004, and my system can't take the other part of the system, so I don't know.
I'll make a
Yours is-
motion that we approve the $99 for
Okay.
I second it.
the,
All in favor?
Aye.
All we gotta do is find another account to take.
yes.
So you take it out of the, flips equipment account, you've got 500 in there, and then you've got those for computers.
Okay.
So, 814-10.2,
1410.2.
You said it was budgeted for 500, there's nothing out of that account so far, so we leave 401.
There you go. Got that down there? That needs to go right down. Okay, this is the one that I see this here.
No, absolutely not.
Demolition saw. Now demolition saw, is that what we're using to cut tarmac?
tarmac, concrete.
Concrete. Again, on this one, Albert, I had a light discussion with Joe. And he's got two quotes here, one from samples lawn and garden, one for dragoons. And I said, as long as you were at Tools Unlimited looking at the socket wrenches, check out Makita.
Because they got a line of Makita up there.
Right, and Makita's not a bad machine either, to see what, as long as we stay in the 14-inch, Joe. that's
Yes,
kind of-
I wanna keep,
I think
Much
this
as
is
late as
something
I
we
can get.
certainly
Yep.
need in the village to do the work that we
Oh,
need.
Absolutely.
I guess so.
Absolutely.
Every
Yeah.
time we've had to do some type of work, you know, we didn't have the tools to do it.
Sometimes if it was at night, we couldn't get a demo saw, and they'd tear it and make more
Right.
damage and.
jackhammering just leaves you a mess after you try to patch it.
Or even if we had to go rent one, it costs money to rent one.
Yep.
This, we'd have it and have it for when we need to use it. I mean, there's
So
several
that seed is
places
gonna
we have to
become-
patch, cut and patch. And we never really did that before. And
Was that budgeted too, do you know? Was it-
we discussed it in the
We
budget.
discussed it during the budget meetings, I'm not sure if it was included or
Yeah,
not.
no, it was in last year, we talked about
Yes,
this, that's right.
during the budget
This is
session.
pretty much a hands down.
So I get a motion to approve this requisition for the demolition shop?
Can we make that motion in a fashion that if for some reason Tools Unlimited comes in better price for a better machine for the same price?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'll
Yeah.
stop over there tomorrow and meet with them on all
I'll
these.
second
Because they're looking at a $1,500 cost, and you could probably get it cheaper.
Right.
Okay, I mean, I know we need one, but we need one with some kind of quality, but see, like you, Makita's pretty good too.
I second
So,
it.
need a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, who made the motion?
Albert did.
I couldn't make the motion.
You did, you said, I wanna make a motion.
Oh.
Oh, he can't make a motion?
No.
All right, I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All right.
I thought you were gonna make a motion.
I would like to have a motion.
Okay.
Okay. Got one more?
We got two more.
Well, I've got two more to go. And I'm saving the last one for a big discussion.
That's another one.
Provide for inspection and cleaning of the water tower. Now, we know that we were gonna do that, don't we, everybody?
Yes.
We know that. But I'm looking at a total of 2,600 here on, I think it's M&K.
Yes, they are the
Right.
low price right now.
Yes, they are.
Actually, they just got hired to do the caisson work for the new bridge going across the lake in Vermont.
As I was looking at that, and I was reading our other bid, which, you know, I mean, you're talking pretty near 3 times as much.
No, I'm sorry, Underwater Solutions is
Were they hired?
3,200. You have, what, okay, I didn't put that. That price you see for 6,300 is for both the water tower
Oh, okay,
and the contact tank down at the water plant.
okay.
His price just to do the water tower was half that, which was $3,150.
And then we had Nationwide Tank.
Which I have no preference for.
That was 2,950.
Yeah. Well, you know, if we could, and are we just doing the water tower?
Yes.
And if we're doing the water tower, my thing is, why don't we go with the lowest bid? I mean, because if I can save
Who ended up being low bid?
$500,
M&K diving,
Yeah.
And the last one who did it here was.
was Underwater
it
Solutions.
was Underwater Solutions.
Give or take.
5 years.
About
Yeah.
5 years.
That was 3,100, I think.
Would it be, okay.
No,
Have we ever dealt with this company before?
No.
Does anybody know?
No, but I do have this list of references. I did call a couple, that was a couple of months ago.
Seem
No
to be,
complaints, but I didn't finish calling all the references.
but they seem to be,
Yes.
in your own opinion,
He did stop by the office and introduce himself.
it's like $500 cheaper.
Yeah. No, you're talking.
It's something we've got
Just call
to
the
do.
state
500
attorney general's
yeah.
office, see if there's any complaints on it.
Okay.
But,
A lot of times better business bureaus to have a record.
but I know what's happening is we're gonna have to do something with this very soon, because we're gonna have to get scheduled, and we wanna get it done.
Yeah.
This is what I'm getting at.
You don't want to be doing it.
Yeah, thank you.
Everything.
I think we need to.
What was their time? Did they give you a parameter to scheduling if they had approval or an okay Is it
He do it
6-month lead time?
Roughly within 30 days. Underwater Solutions couldn't give me a time, could be anywhere between now and September.
And they're talking about 2 days.
30 days. 30-day lead
No, they're
time?
talking about 2 days' work.
2 days work. 2 days.
work.
For their equipment,
Yeah,
And 30
once
days.
they mobilize,
diving gear.
1 day to 2 days, depending on what they find.
So I think what I'd like to see if we could get a motion to have M and K
So moved?
do our cleaning. Motion by trustee Gary,
Second,
trustee Connor.
pending an account number.
Yeah, Joe, what is that kind of, what do you want that kind
We don't
It
have it
definitely
yet.
comes out of the water.
I know one thing, we're gonna have to get,
a bunch of these last minute items.
we're gonna have to learn them how to put account numbers there, I know that.
That will be better. I take it out of source of supply, power and pumping, FA 320.4.
F who?
8320.4,
How much is in the account?
13,500.
14 ton?
13, okay, I'm reading the main version.
So bring that down to 12.4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we know that this has been an ongoing thing, been 5 years.
No, bring it down to 11 for 26.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
I'll look it back to school.
The last one that I had a concern with was, and it's the object of, I'm not saying it's needed, but the upgrade for our telephone system. So what it looks to me is gonna be like an automated system. So what happens is, and I don't know about anybody else, but it's nice when I get on the phone and I call somebody that I speak to somebody. Okay? How am I talking to a machine?
I think, and I think we discussed a little bit of this last year, didn't we, during the budget time or something? And that was one of the things we were talking about, that if there was an emergency during the night, this community is getting to a point where they don't know where the people who are in public works live, or their uncles or grandmothers to find them. So with this phone system, we're giving them the opportunity to get an answering machine of some sort with a forwarding number, a pager number, this is an emergency, contact 10 different people, so we desire to give that many numbers. And I know most all the other municipalities are using them now for that possible liability reason, to respond in a more speedy fashion.
On a regular answering machine.
Right, well.
You know,
that doesn't always work.
Turn it on after night.
Yeah, turn on your system when you leave.
I got a question. Was this the phone system was gonna save us money?
Yeah,
I had heard something that
I had written it up in the budget.
a new phone
It would
system
save
would
roughly
save.
$75 per month in cost of the phone, and I think I gave like a 36-month payback period. And that was from our budget discussions, I could bring that out. 33-month or 36-month payback, just for the cost. That's excluding whatever property damage we might have heard during an emergency.
So the system will pay for itself after 36 months.
Yes.
You have to do something.
What
Right
is,
now,
what is involved in this new system? You know, there's things listed here,
Well, is it setting up a whole new,
but, so it'd be like, you know, a numbering system, press 1 for this and 2 for that,
you
and,
can set it up that way, or,
because I agree with Albert, that I really don't like. I mean,
well, it doesn't have to be on during normal hours. I mean, you want a live voice, that's fine, we don't have it on during normal hours. This is something you activate off hours, if that's the way you want it to work. we're all in a meeting at the same time, you don't answer the phone, take the messages. Or you can have a call forward, you can all set up your own voicemail if you want. For each trustee can have their own voicemail box. If somebody's calling here for Mr. Connors,
Push
press
3.
3, leave a message. And you can call from anywhere and check for your messages if that's what you want.
Is there any other system that, other than this one, that has been investigated?
Well,
Or is this
I'm going for
because-
Champlain telephone, so I'm using Champlain
I'm
telephone.
just asking.
I would go to a wireless system, I can talk to
Verizon.
Verizon, but who's the
Nextel.
Nextel. They have a wireless system which bypasses Champlain telephone. I don't know how reliable that is, you know.
I'm just,
I don't know what the
I'm
costs
not familiar with the phone system. What's the office people, what do they think of it? If this is something beneficial, if you don't think it's necessary, I'm just trying to get an idea of what,
Well, I think we definitely need something at night. I don't really know if we need everything that's on that purchase rec, what is it, 16 or, 60 or something?
I cut back a phone or two or whatever.
You know, I was
Now,
at,
anytime you cut back is less the price, is
Yeah, I
that?
think the phones are roughly 125 each.
I don't know if the voicemail box is something that's, they had that at Kimpax, but there was 30 people working there. You know, we don't really get that many people that call, for instance, the trustees specifically, but, you know, I don't know if we can, that's certainly a few folks, but I'll agree with you, I hate talking to a computer.
Huh.
And so, I mean, just calling the town, for instance,
Thank
to
you.
the village of Rouse's Point. You know, you finally get through when you get a voicemail, and then you wait 2 hours for someone to call you back, but.
Well, on a lot of, I
That's
know on
just
a lot
my
of those,
opinion.
on a lot of those systems, and I'm on the phone a lot, I call across the United States ordering parts all the time, and I get that same automation or similar automation. And I have noticed, and I don't know if this has this option or not, at the end of the thing, it says, or if you would like to speak to someone or an operator, push 0 now.
Yes.
And it eliminates all that, and you can speak to someone, because there's a lot of times I call places and I'm like, who am I looking for? I don't know their name, I don't know their extension, I don't, you know, so I just hit 0. And that gets me to a receptionist, it gets me into someone, and then they direct me to wherever. If it has that feature, you know, to me that's very important, because I do kind of agree with like what Chuck and Albert and yourself are saying. It's sometimes very tough depending on the format of the system. But at the same time, as we move into the future, we need something to accommodate the nights, which I'm sure an answering machine could do, can do, might do, as long as we remember to turn it on, remember to check the messages, remember to write it down, and you know, and then it works. But it's almost time to look into the future if we can get the right wording
Right.
of the software or system or whatever you call
Can I
this.
make a suggestion, a recommendation? Maybe we can have Champlain come in and do a demo for the village staff.
That or else they can tell us where they have systems set up that they've used somewhere else, we can look at it.
I think them coming in, it actually is going through, or whatever.
And how
You
do
have
they-
a better
we're the
idea.
ones that are gonna have to use
Yeah,
it.
it has a better idea of what it entails and, you know.
I think we need to do this before we go
I
any
think what you're
further
gonna,
with this.
I think, and I'm not sure, I mean, when I worked the offices in Plattsburgh, we had this, it was AT&T, intercom, whatever. So if the person hits 0, and say, for example, Donna answers it, and the call is for you or for Larry or whatever, you say, 1 moment please, you put them on hold, you hit intercom or line, whatever. Larry, you wanna pick up, there's a call on line 2 or whatever. You just hang up your phone and you don't have to push hold or did they pick it up yet, whatever. And it's a little more probably professional from the person calling, an attorney or with the development talks that we're doing, who knows, you know what I mean? But yeah, it'd be a good idea to try it, I agree.
I did this initially back in January and I haven't followed up with
Yeah.
the details. since.
I'm gonna make a motion that we table this until more information is available and potentially some type of demonstration.
So we move ahead, wanna move ahead with the demonstration, if they have that available, we can go ahead, get one in here, try it, see how it works.
See what people think about it.
Right.
And make me know when they'll be here, so in case some of the
None of
board
us want
members
to be
want
here.
to be available to.
Let's see what we can set up.
We got a motion for that, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. There's only one other thing that I have, and I'm going to be calling for an executive, to go into executive session. I have a personnel issue I'd like to bring up in an executive session. Thank you very much. I don't need a motion to go into that now, do I? No. Okay. Okay, report of trustees. Trustee Connor, please.
Okay, I got a few things here. To start off with, I was hoping legislator Popcat was here because I had a question for her. I noticed in our correspondence that there was going to be a hazardous thing at the dump in Morrisonville. I was just curious if there was going to be another one in Morris this year like we have in the past where they, you can get rid of old paint and that type of thing. So if we could follow up with her and see if there's going to be something this summer like there has been.
I think they had in September, what was it?
I can't remember when it was, but I
Right.
know in the past 2 years we've had one there, and it makes it convenient.
Yes, it does.
I was approached by a village resident about the lack of police protection. This individual had someone break into their house recently and caused some damage while the people were in the home. The father and son restrained this individual. The individual was intoxicated, had come from downtown, from one of the local establishments. And they were quite concerned about this happening again. I mean, it's a traumatic experience for somebody to be walking into your house late at night and doing damage. So it was something the resident approached me, and I know we don't have a police force anymore. I know we do have Rouse's Point that does come in occasionally and police the village, and drive through the village. I was just wondering if it's feasible for the state police to maybe try and patrol a little bit more late hours driving through the village, maybe when some of these establishments may be closed, and see people maybe wandering around the streets and taking a proactive type approach to things.
I think it's something we have to call the state police
Right,
and
Right.
request or ask.
I think there's certainly a large number of state police in the area now as compared to what there was in the past. And I think that this is something that they should be able to do.
But all individuals out in our community should know that our 911 system would get the state police there too as well. I mean,
Well, they did call 911, state police did get there, but it's a delay. I mean,
Yes, it is.
They felt that if there was some local policing that it might not have happened at all, which you never know when something is going to happen. But I just wanted to bring that up because it was a concern of one of the village residents, and I agree, it is something
I think
that,
we can get hold of New York State Police and ask them. Good idea.
Who would you like to follow up on that?
Could we send a letter to the state police in the village? Thank you. I would like, there seems like, and I know you're working on it with trustee Parker about the streets as far as the condition and evaluating them, but there's some really bad spots throughout the village that are causing some issues. And people express their concern to me, and I think we need to, I guess, decide what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, as soon as we can.
I think we have a lot of potholes scheduled for this week,
Well,
don't we?
now that you approved my demolition saw,
Right.
I will,
Right.
that'll start next Monday. I'll pick it up and we're gonna start, I think I've heard Walnut, Cherry, up on Prospect Street, there's some bad ones.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
to prepare them, I have to physically cut them out.
Right.
Square them off,
Well, now you have the saw, we'll be able to cut a square hole, fill them
make a
properly.
decent
when we
patch.
patch
I
them,
just wanna go around cold patching all this,
Right.
and I make
Do
a
you
bigger
have a
mess.
list of streets yet, or things you're going to be working on?
I have streets that I've heard complaints from various people, and what I've seen personally,
And I know there's a few issues that I can't remember where it was, and I'd have to go back.
and some of this is for manhole repairs, where we're too high or too low, I have to cut that out to repave it, so, and it's all part of the same game plan.
Actually, I have myself driven the streets just in the village here about 3 or 4 times, trying to pick up on all these, get a list going. Because even, like I said, in the back of Walnut behind Kimpex, I mean, we've got some monstrous holes back there. You know, I've noticed a lot of them around the town. We've been trying to get together with Joe here.
Well, I have some storm drain issues that
schedule.
collapse that have to be cut out and reset. And it's all,
But
it's gonna be a campaign to do them all
Yeah.
continuously.
If you can get a list that you can distribute to the boards, so if there's something that we feel that needs to be added to it, maybe something was missed.
Or if
And then
we
if
could
someone
add-
says something to us, we can say, yes, that's on the schedule.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'd be
or-
glad to make you up the list. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Or
just
if
have
we
my
add to it,
loose
say if
notes.
there was any
Every time
village
somebody calls, I
resident
just
out
write it
there
down.
that had a concern or an issue, they could call in the office and provide the office with a list of streets we're dealing
Then
with.
you could hear it over TV, you know.
Right.
So they could call upon it there. And to go along with that, and I don't know if you have a complete project list that you plan on doing through the summer. I know in your report you say these are some of the things we want to address in the future. I don't know if you have a whole list of projects that we plan on doing, not only street work, but other things. Maybe a little more in-depth type thing where.
Sure, it's all been pretty generic right now. I
Yeah.
don't detail you.
Right. So if we can get something like that, so I know those type of things you have to plan out with, based on what your workforce availability is, so it'd be nice to know where things kind of fit in. The other thing is, Mrs. Dawson, do you know when we'd be able to get what our fund balance is for our different accounts?
I have them. I have not done the annual report yet, but I have closed for the year. I have
Okay.
the balances. Actually, if you look at the report,
I looked at them.
those are very close. It would be that figure minus any encumbrances, accrued liabilities, which is,
One looks pretty good, the other one looks
sewer is.
okay, sewer looks,
But you can tell from those figures, Chuck, they're very close.
I kind of thought so, but I know sometimes you come up with like the exact figure. a couple
Well, I
months.
think for next month's meeting, I think she could do that for us. I think for next month's meeting, I think we would all end up having what our end of year totals were.
Well, actually, if you take say for instance, the water one, we encumbered that one Murray bill, $2,500, take that off the fund balance, and, the 200 in liability. So it's that close, it's really that close.
So water's not too bad. Sewer,
Generally,
Sewers.
general's down, but it's still pretty, you know.
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee Connors. Trustee Barker.
I don't have too much this evening. We just touched on the road issue. Joseph and I are still working on this. And also with that road issue, we're trying to figure out if we can get this county, state to help us with Main Street, eventually Church Street.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Elm
gonna take some
Street.
time to go through New York State DOT and Clinton County and everybody else and see if I can get additional funds and certain avenues I'm trying to pursue right now.
Right.
Haven't
And
all
also,
followed up yet.
what we've been talking about a little bit is some preventive maintenance, where we've got cracks in the road where they're splitting. Before this winter comes and we get more frost and water down there, turning them into large holes, we're gonna try to see if we can get some sealer. And it's just a liquid sealer that you would spray
Right.
over it. What it'll do is protect that crack, stop it from going any further. And by next year, if we've got a big project, we can go ahead and do it. But we're trying to slow down some of the repair here, some of the cracks, things like that, preventive maintenance on that. Other than that, I really don't have too much. I've kind of been working on administration and business part of the village this month. And so I have some things for executive session. But other than that, that's it for me.
Oh, thank you, Trustee Barker.
Now, would you call an executive session?
I have some things I'd like to discuss about personnel in executive session.
So you're calling one for personnel.
Oh, well, Albert already
Mayor
called.
already has, so we need,
Well, because we have to define what you're calling it for, if you're in fact calling it.
and, I'm just saying I have some discussion for executive
He's gonna come in on my personal,
I'm riding piggyback. Am I doing this right? Does every person have to say why they want to go in executive session?
They only
Yes.
call it, and you can only discuss in executive session what the session was called for.
Right.
And he has a particular issue with personnel.
Right.
Now, if you have another issue with personnel, then you would call something also.
Okay, then seeing I don't know what your executive position is for personnel, I also would like to make an executive session
Okay.
for personnel.
Okay.
In case it's
There you go.
in your-
There you go. That way it
That's all we
covers.
need. Yes, I got
Covers
to
all we
do
need.
it right. I'm new to
It's
this too.
confusing.
I'm new to this.
Something you mentioned about Main Street and working with the state. Is the state gonna be repaving Main Street in the next few years?
I don't have your schedule.
It seems like I remember
just
hearing
restrained it.
something about that they were gonna do a repaving, this was like last year, either this year or the following year, and I can't remember when it was. It's probably just a coat over top of what's there, since they redid that several years ago.
What our real concerns there is we're getting a lot of truck traffic. I mean, huge truck traffic. Our village is just not made to supply for, this heavy traffic.
You know,
It's not,
we're picking up all this truck traffic down Church, down Main, down Elm, down.
yeah.
Yeah, but we
through
should,
Locust.
some of that traffic shouldn't even be going down the
I
streets.
agree, but I think that's one of my points to the state is we take a lot of this truck traffic because of the warehouse facilities around here or whatever. We should be entitled to some sort of additional
Right, all
funding.
that
That's
additional
fine.
weight on
Yeah,
our
More
streets.
power to
That's-
us if we can get some.
That's what I'm thinking, I
If we
haven't done it
can get
yet.
them to cover as much as they can, then, okay, that leaves us with our side streets, but if we can get the main roads covered, I mean, we all know when we did Church Street, I mean, that was a whopper of a price, so, it's
Yeah.
a lot of money we're talking about, so wherever we can get some help, that's what we're trying to do first.
Okay, is that it, trustee Barton?
That's it, I'm sorry.
Okay. Trustee Gay.
I have two quick things. One, to clarify with the trees in downtown village, I misspoke. They want to put plaques on the two existing trees. One dedicated to Nancy and the other tree is already dedicated to, what was that tree dedicated to, do you know?
Saturday? Like, they talk about putting one in Saturday, but I don't know that they're gonna get it, and I don't know who John is dedicated to.
I remember talking about planting a tree.
Right,
And you
right,
gotta
that's what I
check with Joe
thought
to
they were
find a
going to
spot
do,
where-
but what they said is there were two trees already there, and they wanted to put plaques of some type or a notification that that's what it's being dedicated to. And what is the less obtrusive way of us doing that for upkeep and, for mowing and weed whacking around? What is the best thing to do? That's what we need to look at.
I mean, they want to put a monument stone down or?
This isn't physically putting something on the tree, it's around the tree.
Whatever the best, if it needs to go on the tree for landscaping purposes, that's not gonna harm the tree.
Well, the tree is gonna be gone.
Just in memory of,
We'll take it.
just a plaque,
A plaque.
something.
Probably a metal plaque that you could put in front of the tree?
Whatever we can do, whatever you guys wanna do that's less obtrusive for the workers, that's what we're
Obviously,
looking at.
if it's a tree that's in the process of growth,
You can't really hear anything to it, yeah.
Right,
you know
no,
what I
no, I know that.
So if you're gonna put it in front of the tree, obviously, it's gonna be secured to something or it won't stay there. Somebody's
Right,
gonna.
and
So
what is gonna
you're-
be the best means with
you're-
mowing is their question.
What do they have for option? What are they suggesting? Anything?
They're just asking what is
A
the best
pedestal?
option.
Well, how big is the plaque? Do you know yet?
Oh, they haven't done anything yet, 'cause they wanna see what's gonna be the best option.
Maybe what they could do and let the board know or whatever, find out what's available. I know they have pedestals with plaques on them. They have stones where you mount a plaque on it. See what's available, then let us know what they might wanna do,
Okay.
and then
We'll-
for this
We'll
application.
review it from there.
I think, if it's a growing tree again, you probably have to have it a little ways from the tree.
That's what I mean, right?
And what they might wanna do is have something around the tree, kind of around that plaque or stone or whatever they're gonna have, and maybe some flowers around something, a space where you can decorate it a little bit more. I'm not sure.
Cement it in the ground,
Well, they said they don't want it to be a
because it ain't
problem
gonna stay if you don't.
to mowing.
I think what you might find, Amy, and I'm kind of mental picturing what you're looking to do, without getting into a lot of maintenance and putting shrubbery and mulch and all this and then stuff. I've seen the pedestal ones, it's a pretty good sized iron pipe that goes into the ground, maybe cemented, comes up and there's like a table where your plaque bolts to.
Right, right.
Doesn't mean that the kids won't damage it, but they're designed for this. taking a measurement from the base of the tree out so a mower can pass right through without, oh, now we have to weed whack 2 feet.
Right.
You know, move it away enough, there's still room for growth
Right.
and so on and so forth.
And cement it in,
So
and
we'll
I
just
think,
get
Cement it
with you,
in.
Joe, as to a place in the
Right.
for it.
I'll call a
Okay.
couple landscapers too, and see if they have some ideas.
right.
Okay. And the only other item I have is I need to call executive session for a personnel matter. That's it.
Good. Oh, hefty tonight, love it. Well, Steve Foyer.
A couple things, I talked with some local people here about water meters, and I guess I'm just kinda looking for clarification, and if there is any, maybe we can have a discussion by the board on what they would recommend doing. What we have is a situation with a homeowner who has 2 water meters in his house. We normally read 1. Part of the reason is because he opted to put the second one in after the first meter, so there's math involved. You can't just read it, come up with a number. You gotta read, subtract to get totals. He's seen me 3 or 4 times about this, and I says, oh, I'll ask the board and see what our policy is, if any, or is there discussion on it, or what we can do for him. He is paying 2 water sewer bills. He's charged for 2 and he pays 2. What he would like to do is he's gonna repipe what he needs to do, so the 2 meters for the 1 address has 2 remotes outside with 2 water meters inside. So when we go there, we'd be scanning 2, A and B, 1 and 2, or whatever the case may be. I'd like to get back with him, just a nice gesture. Now, he did mention, he called today, I think, he stopped into the office. Did he
I
talk with
spoke
you?
with him Friday.
He seems to be settled at this point, but at the same time, earlier when this first came about, I told him I would bring it to the board to get clarification, and it may be resolved, I don't know.
I told him I don't have a problem. He puts in a separate meter. He has 2 addresses, an A and B.
Right, same
So,
building, AB.
Same building, so I just read 2 meters.
Does that
2
sound,
separate bills.
that
Yeah.
sounds reasonable, right?
Because I think
We
what
have
he's
the same-
doing is,
I'm
one
sorry.
apartment will be paying for theirs, and the
Yeah,
other
that's
apartment will
right.
be paying for theirs,
That's right.
and I think that's only
Yeah,
fair.
it's the same thing I'm trying to set up on Kane Street with all those individual meters too.
And that's another good one there, as long as we're on that topic. King Street, we have a master meter, from what I understand, we don't read. Is that correct? We read the individual meters that belong to the trailer park.
And I
Is that
I
correct?
understand we read the master
We
meter.
read the master meter, and some people are getting paid for more water, they're
And then-
paying for more water and sewer than they're using,
But
I think.
no, it can't be,
No?
because,
We only read the individual meters and they only get billed what they actually use.
But-
Or in this case, most of those meters don't work, so they've been getting estimated, and that's where the problem has come in. Some of the
Well,
residents.
and that was the arrangement I made with the owners of the trailer park, was to upgrade all their meters to working condition. Because I guess that's where I got the complaint was, some felt they were getting estimated bills and
Right,
So
and they
again,
may not be using that much.
may not
Well-
that much or more, it could be either way.
I guess what I'm saying is that we're not reading our master meter, obviously for obvious reasons, we have multiple locations. It's just as easy for us to read them and bill accordingly. So, in that case, where we're doing this, and they're not our meters, they're not our remotes, but it is our responsibility to make sure that they're working. There's like a double indemnity going on here.
I don't know if it's our responsibility because they're not our meters.
Well, this is what I'm saying, we don't own the meters nor the readers, but they do have meters and readers. Some work, some don't. And this is where it's like where are we at? It's kind of, we have a master meter, and if we read that, all these people would have to figure out, throw a coin in the hat and figure out what it is.
Right.
So I think we're at this point, we're being very polite by reading their meters. And I think that's a good thing, because we are billing multiple sewers, so we should be able to do this.
But they should come up close to the master meter.
Well, we don't know
When
that.
you-
Do we read the master meter at all?
I don't believe so, not
No.
in that area.
Because
So-
when you read that master meter, and if they're not sure about the rest of them, if you end up with, say, 20,000 gallons,
Right.
when you read those 5 parcels or 6 parcels, they should all come up pretty close to 20,000 gallons.
Well, my point is, we don't. So, and I can understand why, it's in a pit, and it's what, or maybe there's a remote, I'm not sure. And I guess what I'm getting at is, what I'd like to see there, and I don't know if this is even feasible or possible, is go to the owner or the caretaker of that park and say, listen, we've always had a problem here. somebody's cut a wire, the meter doesn't work, the meter does work, we're estimating. It's not fair to us, and it's not fair to you. At this point, if you want to revert all those meters to us, then when there's damage, we can bill like any other resident. A broken wire and it's negligence, we charge you. Or this type of thing where we maintain them. If we're charging them for it, we should maintain it just like we do everybody else. We are collecting water and sewer for times 6 or 8 or whatever's there. To simplify that situation, now maybe we're taking on a little more liability or responsibility, but the cost of a water meter and a wire, once they're set and set right, there's some that are working. How many are not working now, do you know?
Most of them don't work.
Most of them don't even work. So,
I really don't know why, it was set up that way. That was way before my time.
now I do know we mandate that they go to our system, right? Because we have a new scan gun now. But if there's some that don't have that, is that correct? Some of the old systems, we can't scan them because it doesn't have
Most of
the.
those are, I'd have to check, but I think most of those are with the gun, I believe. And then I get the book and
Right,
we
but-
can review it, but,
So they have upgraded them to the oil-filled meter so we can scan them with a gun?
well, let me get.
I know there's a few in there, but I'm working off memory. I think there's a few that don't.
So there's several of these meters that don't work. So we estimate it,
We estimate it.
and it's not our responsibility to repair them.
At this point,
So why isn't the owner of the park mandated to fix it?
Well,
Last
okay,
year we
let's-
did.
Let's get on this. Stop it right now, because
Okay.
one of the permit qualifications that I gave the owner of the King Street properties was that he brings all his meters up to snuff.
the speed.
Up to snuff.
Right.
Now, I was supposed to follow up with him after May 31st. He stopped in last week. I missed him. So I'm gonna meet with him probably within a week, because we have to schedule for that, getting skirts fixed on trailers, getting everything up to the code.
So in other words, you're working on it, so
Yeah.
why are we having a discussion?
I don't,
Right,
I
let's let you do your job and get everything
if I
back.
can't get it done, then I'll come to you guys and,
Well, I guess what I'm saying is right now, we don't own this stuff, but we're reading it. We are billing for it and we're collecting for it as if we owned it, like anybody else. Would it be advantageous for us to do the same system there as we do with everybody else in the village?
yeah, everybody
And
gets
not
one
have
meter.
this confusion?
Yeah,
of
I
meter
guess the
working
master
that way?
meter, I don't know why they were set up that way. Why it just wasn't set up as individual properties.
Years
With
ago, there
individual
was
meters.
confusion, now everything's kind of straightened out. I think, I don't know.
The reason it was done initially is when we put in the whole new system, grants fund, the whole bit, each resident was given one meter. And if they had any apartments, any trailers, anything else, it was up to them to get their own meter.
Okay,
We only
purchase another
furnished
meter.
one, so, right, John?
That was even before my time.
Yeah. Okay.
So the extra meters came in as extra mobile homes came in, or somebody made a duplex, they
And we
had
used
to
to
do their
always
own.
read over the master meter.
That's it.
And then over the years, I guess it kind of felt bad that people couldn't bill and break the bills up, so then,
It made
even in the
sense.
town's meter, we always used to just read the master meter.
Done. Now we're reading all their residents.
Now over the years, it's changed. But
You see what I'm getting at? Wouldn't it be wise for us to talk to, when you meet with him, suggest that in a way that, listen, with all the confusion and when we're estimating, from now on, if a meter's broke and we have to, we're not estimating, it has to be right or nothing. Or bring the system into the same as the rest of the village, sign off the meters or whatever, we'll fix them, we'll get them working, so now we're back to a normal read, like a normal address for anybody else. Is there something, does that make sense, Janice? Through the years, I mean, we've developed this anyways.
if you look at trailer park up here, they read all those meters, don't they?
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at Kane
You have to
Street.
look at all the other parks and things, everything in the parks.
Well, do we read her hits? We read them all separately again.
Yes, yeah.
And they're all
Do we
good.
own the meters or does she own the meters?
That I don't know. I don't know.
All I know is that Tom Powers is a very nice guy. I've done work for him, we've dealt with him. I think he wants what's right. I don't think he's trying to avoid anything.
Well, I think, looking at, because the guys just brought these books back today, and it looks actually like most of these seem to be working now, except for one. It looks like they probably, well, I shouldn't say that, this one here is not working. That's one. It's the master meter.
Do we read the master meter?
They've read the master meter today,
Today.
yep. Yep. This is the master meter, and Larry had noted they installed a new one on September of 2003.
I mean, not to spend a lot of time on this, what I'm trying to do is like the United Columbus and Pocket Building, we've cured an issue there. That's cured. Not that I want to do this every month, but there's a problem here. If we can cure it, wouldn't it be wise for us to eliminate all these gray areas and confusion?
Well, I
if
think
it's
that's what
possible?
Joe's working on, you know, doing the meter thing, and he'd have to be responsible for them. You know, and if he wants to, put the new meters in them, turn them over to the village, and we'll maintain them. I think that's a conversation you
Well,
can
that's
have
fine
with
too,
him.
I think he's willing to pay for them and install them, and he can turn them over to us for reading,
Right.
that's fine.
I think that's where Rainey himself is going, and I think that's where we need to go. Each individual pay for their usage.
Okay, if
We
it's a matter of
turn-
ownership of the meter, then I guess we can reconcile that with the owner.
With the owner,
Yeah.
say, if you want to sign them over to us, then we'll handle it like we do with everybody else. If it
Well,
We'll
doesn't work,
repair them.
we can fix them, we can,
Yeah.
and eliminate this gray area of whatever's, some broke, some work, estimating and whatever. I mean, estimation will always occur due to breakage, but is that something we make a motion on or a vote, or just leave it for Joe to handle?
Well, I think Joe's gonna handle it, I think. I think that was in a discussion.
No, well, that was part of the permit requirements for the
Right.
Kane
To
Street.
get everything working, what I'm
To
talking
get
about,
everything working.
bring it over to the village side, so we're clear there just like anybody else.
I didn't spell that out to him, I just said all the meters up to
You
snuff.
see where we're
Yeah,
going though?
sure.
Is that kind of what we're
Right.
looking at?
And what I'd like to see, if we eventually do that, and once things are in and set, do a comparison from the 6 or 8 meters, individual meters with the master meter,
To the
see
master.
how they compare.
See
so
where they're coming out.
Yeah.
See if there, who knows?
But
You
they're
never
right.
know, there may be a leakage somewhere, we don't know about
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And that's what, one of the reasons having
It
a
could be
master
leakage underground by not reading the master, you wouldn't know.
That's right.
How many did you figure, Donna, that were not working
Well, I would say probably 3 to 4.
out of a total of?
I think there's probably 8 there now.
So about half of them aren't working.
Is that better than it used to be, or, I don't know if he's.
Do we need a
There's a
motion to
couple
put
that
it into, to effect that they do it, or should we just let Joe bring it up?
Well, I'm supposed to meet with him, so I mean, I'll ask if he's repaired any of them.
Right.
Have you done any repair work down there? Paul?
I haven't, no, he has mentioned it, but he had to meet with you or somebody first, that's fine, whatever.
Well, I gave him May 31st to clean up the area.
And I
get
think
going, so.
I think his intent is good, so I don't think, but
Okay.
in your conversations, if you can portray that to him, say, geez, this is what we're looking to do, are you willing to do this, and if so, give me a piece of paper, sign off stating that I will bring it up to grade, sign it over, and we'll be just like everybody else in the village,
This
that
will
pays
be,
water sewer bill.
this will be the consensus of the board right now.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
The other thing I've got, and maybe Donna or Janice can help me with this, there's a street light on Elm Street on the west side of the store. So it'd be,
I've got all the lighting
do you have that
files
one?
now.
Okay,
yes.
that one just
That
started,
one-
I don't know, is that on your
No,
list?
that one's been there for a while.
There was one on the other end, on the east side, 2 poles down.
Okay.
This one just starts right on the corner of the store. It just started. We can make a call to NYSEG on that. The sewer project that we just completed, the Legion and Historic Building,
Yes, sir.
is complete. Well, somewhat complete, there's still seeding to do, a little bit of raking, and I guess they got it cleaned up
That's just that one.
pretty much.
Yes.
And the handrail will go back.
Handle will go back in place.
And I guess from talking with the guys down there, the backhoe worked great. They loved it, they could reach, they could pull and tug and whatever they do, it worked really well.
Good.
And the other question is paving, and I know Paul's on streets and stuff, and I think he may have asked that question. With our CHIPS money and stuff, do you foresee any possibility of paving this summer? Is there money
Well,
available
there's
to do
There should be the
something?
$17,000 that was carried over from last year. And I have not made plans for that money yet, depending on what he came out with as part of a full program.
Does CHIPS money have to be on streets, can't be sidewalks, can't be
Streets and sidewalks.
drainage, can't be, CHIPS is roads only?
Streets and sidewalks.
Streets and sidewalk, okay.
Right.
So we can go both ways,
That and the work has to be provided with a 10-year guarantee.
guaranteed,
Right.
okay. So with that dollar amount, do you think, or do you foresee I know this is your first summer here, but do you foresee at this point a chance of doing a street or two, or half a street, or finishing Prospect or something like this?
Well,
Is this possible?
it's possible. I didn't plan on it only because I didn't want to just do piecemeal work.
Right.
I don't know how far that 17,000 will get me, that's why I was trying to put a whole cost factor in so we could put a 5-year plan together or
See
whatever.
what that buys you, where it gets you.
But I can, you guys pick a street, I'll do it, see how far I get with
Well, no,
17,000.
I think, well, that's not really what I mean, but. Could you find out maybe just do a quick thing and find out, cost per ton?
Yep.
And then square inches, square feet, however,
Yep.
there's a formula I'm sure
Yep,
they
I have.
use. Does so many feet at so many ton, that's so thick.
Well, I was working with one guy, but he's kind of been busy, hasn't finished up the numbers for me, but
Maybe
I
even
put the numbers
Plasberg,
together.
maybe even Plasberg Quarry would
Right.
have a chart, and you say,
Yep.
geez, if I wanted to do a road, how many tons does it take to
They
go
do.
2 inches at so much?
I have that information.
Okay. And then we can take our dollar amount and say approximately, then we know
What
how many
street,
streets we
what
can do.
street can we do?
We'll give you a rough square footage cost, and
Right.
I
There you
think
go.
you'll do
There
one.
you
we'll
go.
go from there.
Good,
Because I
okay.
think up to this point, Randy, what we've been doing is we've been trying to measure the streets. We've been trying to get the
Yep.
width, the length,
The
so we can
lengths.
put it all together. That way, when we come up with a package, we know how many miles of streets we gotta go, how wide they're
Right.
gonna be, all that, so.
Yeah.
It's quite a package to get together once you start into it.
I think we can get a square footage, knowing we do have some dollars to work with, not say to use it all on streets, we need sidewalk work, but
Yeah.
it'll give us an idea of what is possible. If we decide to do something, we'll have some number to work with.
Right, then we'll have to pick the worst street, I guess, and start with that one, or
Take the
maybe
best street, the
most
easiest.
used, or, you know,
Actually, we have 34,000 in there for chips, because 17 is carried over from last year and 17 this year.
Yeah.
So we're double.
But that 17 this year isn't a guarantee yet because it hasn't been passed by the state legislature.
Well, that-
It's advanced monies that haven't been approved by the state.
mhm.
Right,
There-
but we're looking at, and we're looking at 34,000 from last year, this year. It's not a guarantee, but, yeah.
When do we know that? What are we waiting on? State?
New York State?
Oh,
New York State has passed legislature to approve that amount for
okay.
Right,
CHIPS money, but it hasn't been
Answers
approved
that.
yet.
right.
Chips,
There you
you know,
go.
one of the things that
The other thing is, I guess the guys all pitched in together, got Mrs. Smith some flowers, in thanks to, for making them cookies and stuff. So I thought that was a nice thing that they got together about Mrs. Ruth Smith up on Prospect. And I guess through the winter she made some cookies and stuff, and I was talking with Larry today, and he says, yeah, he says, they ordered some flowers for her in thanks for that.
Right.
I was made aware of it. She called me on Saturday because they were blocking her door and she wasn't there when they were delivered, so I went up and moved them for her, but I thought that was a nice gesture on the village employees to do that. The other thing was, last month, there was some, St. Mary's Academy, a purchase for flowers. What, was that a special? Is this something we do every year? Is that,
the two hanging plants,
Right.
I'll probably do it every year.
we buy, St. Mary's sells flowers every year, one of the classes or one of the grades or whatever. And, that's pretty much, well, the other thing I noticed on our budget report, it went from deputy clerk to secretary. Was that a typo or what happened there? Was
That would be correct.
There's only one person.
Okay. Well, no, as I was looking at that, I'm like, okay, we're coming into our new budget year, I'm looking at it, and like, where'd our deputy clerk go?
I think I
They
might
went to a
have.
secretary, we must have hired a secretary. So,
I got a demotion there, I guess.
so that was a typo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
And that's pretty much all I've got this evening.
Thank you very much for that report. Okay, to the clerk treasurer's report.
I copied each of you with the revenue and expenditure report, which is May 31st, 2004, which is the end of our year. I can show you what we did last year. The fund balance that is there is close, but it's obviously not a year end. Enclosed, I have those figures, but I don't have the annual report, don't have to be done for the state, I did it last. but, I think we should read it.
Okay, good.
Oh, year end, I guess that's the other thing, I'll hand you all the cities first. The only other item I have is the dog control report, dog control officer's report. If that's sufficient, or we can release those checks, or are you holding the checks from the last abstract? So we got this report, just want to be sure it's okay in one more.
We started out, it started out slow, but he's sending us a written report, and I think that's what we've asked for.
Took him 6 months to do it, but we finally got it. We got it on a Friday, and I haven't had a chance to read it.
But,
He has made a letter, yeah, due to our demand or request, as he's finally followed through with that.
Well, I didn't really realize he was this busy, but I did talk to somebody this past week on
He does.
Prospect Tree. This lady, older lady, I guess she had called him so many times that she knew his number by heart. And then I said, well, let me call him and see if maybe I can get him to come up here. And she goes, you can't call him right now, he's on vacation. But this is so-and-so's number that's taking his place for vacation. So I'm assuming she called him a lot. But something about, she's got a little Chihuahua or Shih Tzu or something, and there's a big dog constantly in her yard chasing her little dogs, and she said she keeps
There's a
calling this
lot that run
guy.
around up there.
Yeah.
We have a lot that
There's
run
big
those.
fields up there and stuff sometimes when they run around, but,
Did
they're
it mention
trying to
this
bring it
report?
to
I haven't had a
the
chance to read it, but did it mention anything about Prospect dogs?
Not on Prospect.
no, nothing in Prospect.
Plenty of others.
If someone tells you call, if they can't get to it, then just someone call us at the office, and
Okay.
we do that a lot.
Yeah.
And then he'll come back and tell us results of the search.
Yeah, but I mean, she had all these numbers, I don't know if she's called once a day.
Well, I think he's been doing,
Or-
I think he said the report, and I know he's been doing his job, because I've seen him in town too myself, but
Is
just
it?
one person to try and, he's got a lot of stuff to do, and I mean, I think he's doing his work, and I think we just need to pay him his pay,
Yeah.
you know,
I make a motion to release those bills for payment
along with the dog control officer.
for the dog.
Yeah,
I second.
you do a second to it? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carrie, thank you. Is that it, Mrs. Dawson? Or no? That it? Mr. Superintendent.
Okay, well, I believe you all have a copy of my report for the May activities. Am I allowed to ask for an executive session?
Executive session?
No,
Okay.
but that's okay.
There was just some issues for discussion in my report that I'd like to, I guess I'd like to go over the water sewer contract status. You all received the updated copy.
Yes.
What we just received from,
Jim Keeble just gave me
Yeah.
comments
Today.
this afternoon.
Just got it, yeah.
so we haven't had a chance to even review those.
Okay, so I was going to incorporate his comments unless you want to review them first.
I kind of skimmed through it tonight. I don't really have a good grip on it, but I can see the only problem is the fire department thing. I don't think we should be adding in, because we had discussion about that. You mentioned the same thing that I brought up when we were doing the water sewer contracts. For fire protection, reading a meter and charging them for it. And we opted not to do this.
Oh, yeah.
We decided that years ago.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is James Keeble put in here that he recommends that we may do that. So what I'm saying to Joe is, don't add this part in,
Right, no.
okay? That's the only spot I noticed. He did make a couple good points that are probably legal angles that, we didn't cover because it was.
I'd like to have some time to review it and say,
Yeah,
because
because, you know,
we just
what-
got those today, and I picked it up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, and I haven't had a chance to read it.
Does anybody else have any questions for Superintendent Webb, or does he have any for us?
No, that's it.
Just, can I just ask a favor?
Please.
That we can get it a little sooner?
Yeah, that we get this a little sooner.
Sure.
Could we get it like the Thursday before the meeting?
Well,
We got
I had it
Friday,
99% done, but
Not done today.
last Thursday, but I sat on
Yeah.
it,
We got Friday.
waiting for some answers on a couple issues. Yes?
Even if you did, even if you threw a one pager in on Monday for us,
Okay. I'll do
it
that
would give
now.
us a chance over the weekend to review it. You know, if you could do that, we would all appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is us on
I
to
think so too. I think a couple
correspondence.
times
Yeah,
before.
I got correspondence here somewhere, what did I do?
Item 1 is correspondence from Attorney Everett to Attorney Cable regarding the Lower Sewer District. And item 2 will be a response to Mr. Cable to Attorney Everett regarding the same. Item 3 is correspondence to Tracy Road Equipment questioning several items on the backhoe, and they don't have a response to it, do you?
No, he stopped by Friday, he's supposed to be back today, but he didn't make it today, so it will happen this week sometime.
Okay, then, good.
Number 4 is a thank you note written on behalf of the mayor to thank the Woodland World for the donation of the flag. 5 is correspondence from Mr. and Mrs. Walker advising them that the village is not selling any property this time, but we will keep their correspondence on file.
Great.
Item 6 is a thank you note for St. Mary's for the brush. Item 7 is a thank you from Dr. Fox to Larry for his assistance with the sewer problem. And Jimmy August was there also, so he should be happy to.
It's nice when the crew gets recognized. Yes, it is.
Item 8 is correspondence to Supervisor Law regarding our 2004 compliance report. Item 9 is correspondence to Metro Columbus and Spring Park Cat regarding the sewer lateral between their buildings, 9 and 10. Completed. 11, correspondence from the U.S. Department of Interior regarding the study on the groundwater quality from the aquifers.
On this, I had asked Superintendent Webb if we could potentially look into filling out this survey.
Okay.
And I mentioned that it's a good check for our water, and maybe it might identify issues if there are any. If not, there isn't any issues, it'd also be a
Right.
good form of support for
Documentation,
of our quality of our water.
Right.
So I guess,
Yeah,
can we ask?
do we need to have a motion to that effect? No.
We'll just-
Right, no, we just want to see if we can participate in the aquifer study.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
comments, take care of it.
Item 12 is correspondence with Newton Thompson with information regarding the Stevens subdivision. Have a response later on.
Yeah.
Correspondence from that. 13 is correspondence from the New York State EDC relative to sea land control. If we don't act on this, we are giving consent, which
Right.
will be your decision whether to do that or not.
Oh, yeah, the land rate control is no expense to us anyways.
Right.
I think it's
Right.
important for the fishery.
And I think it's important for the fishery. Didn't they do something up at the dam here once? Yeah. They did
Several
something-
years ago, yeah. Well, they had some type of traps up there to see what the numbers were basically of sea lamprey. They were able to trap them and I guess do some type of study on them. And I don't know if that's still there or not.
Yeah, we need to do it, you're right. Okay, Mrs. Lawson.
Item 14 is a second letter to Attorney Everett and Attorney Kegel regarding the districts.
Yep.
15 is correspondence from GSI informing us of the increased cost of the transportation services.
I'm surprised that it's taken this long.
Well, you know, how many years we had the $45 figure?
All right, we must have it 5 years anyways.
Has it been that long?
Oh,
I
yes.
thought we did raise once.
No, we
From
were at,
40 to 45?
no, I think we were at 78 or 79 and we went to 45 with a different carrier. I think I can
Could
remember
be.
that.
I can't remember. I know we did change.
So I'm surprised that,
They only went up that much.
yeah, we only went up that much in that length of time.
16 is correspondence to Attorney Keeble regarding the draft copies of the water sewer agreement. 17 is correspondence from Attorney Keeble regarding the secret declaration allowing us to change the zoning law, which is a little bit of work to.
Right. Mr. Webb's gonna be busy again.
Yeah. Those zoning laws, we changed a bunch of zoning laws last year or something, a chunk of them.
We had it all reevaluated last year.
What's that?
I put those in the box, so.
Oh, you did?
Because I haven't seen it though, but that's okay, I don't know.
Oh, it goes way back to about a year ago when we sent it to a different attorney.
Right.
Different city, and Mr. Keeble's gonna act on it.
Okay, because I
It's
know
that
we
same
haven't.
package. It's the same package.
It's the same, because it's in limbo somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
it
he's
is.
working on it. That's why
Okay,
we have
then.
to do this. And then
Thank
we
you.
got that, we set a public hearing after that.
Yeah.
18 is correspondence from Clinton and Thompson regarding the Trustees subdivision.
I forgot to mention in my report too, sorry. We did have a zoning meeting on May 27th and it got postponed because Mr. Smith did not show for it. So nothing was acted upon,
I heard that.
for your information.
Thank you very much. Keeping us filled. Okay. Old business. Number one, I think we've taken care of that this evening. Tank, water tank proposals, cleaning.
Then come right out of old business.
Yeah, I think we took that right out. That's coming right out of the whole business. Steam plant systems checked. We're still in limbo?
No, I firmed up everything. I had a conversation with last week. I'm in total disagreement. There'll be a letter in your box by Wednesday. I'm looking to get a refund for the entire cost.
Thank you. Water and sewer contracts down. We're gonna table that, we're reviewing them. And our purchase policy. I like keeping it there. We need to keep something for old business. Does anybody have any new business before the board this evening? Okay, then I would like to have a motion to go into executive session.
So moved?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried, thank you.
Camera.
Camera.
Oops.
In discussion. An executive session is a month's pay for our code enforcement officer. Would anybody make a motion that he be paid for that month's service? Okay. Would anybody make a motion that he not be paid for that month's service? Guess you can get paid.
Okay.
Anybody else have any?
Just so you know, the motion or non-motion, there's legal issues there that I will pursue at this point, just so we're all on the same page.
Okay.
Because I don't think that should even been a motion or a question, my own opinion. Not because it's Joe, because of anybody. The decision was made by the wrong person, and the wrong decision was made.
Well,
They had a whole board they could have asked.
You need to do what you need to do.
Yep.
Okay, which is fine.
Mhm.
And I think we're gonna find that out.
End of
before you start.
discussion, end of discussion.
Sounds
We
good.
don't want to ramble on. Albert said it himself.
Right, let's not do it.
Yeah.
Well, we have a warrant in front of us. Now, do we as a village want to make a motion to pay these bills?
Mayor LaPorte, I have one bill to be added to the bill. For Gregory's Supply, it's for Butcher Block countertop for $58.24, and for Chadwick sink base for $116. You're over the $50 limit, so I asked Superintendent Webb for a purchase rec, and he said that you would approve that verbally.
Right.
So we'd like to add that on tonight.
Okay, then.
I $174.34.
Right. To pay the warrant with additional $174.54. Do I get a motion to pay the bills? Do I get a second to pay the bills?
Second.
I think I'm gonna need a roll call vote. Trustee Parker, do you wanna pay the bills?
Yes.
Trustee Connor?
Yes.
Trustee Garrett?
Yes.
Trustee Poirier?
The vouchers and bills to be paid came in awful late. I haven't had a thorough time to review it. However, I do want the village bills paid.
Okay, then, thank you. And the vote, and the mayor votes, yes. So, the motion is carried. Now, may I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion made.
Second.
All in favor?